We've all seen Steven Seagal dismantle entire armies on the big screen. His name brings to mind lightning-fast wrist locks, brutal takedowns, and an ice-cold stare that made him an action legend. But what happens when the cameras stop rolling? Well, that's where one of the internet's greatest what-if stories was born. It's a tale you've probably seen whispered across comment sections and forums. A real-life biker gang, full of bravado, decides to test the legend himself. The story is pure modern folklore. There are no police reports, no news articles, and zero credible evidence it ever actually happened. It's a myth that sounds too good to be true, probably because it is. But the legend itself? It's just too awesome not to tell. It's the story we all want to be real. So let's explore the myth of that fateful night. The ultimate story of bullies picking on the absolute wrong person. As the legend goes, it all started at a place called the Rusty Spur Saloon, the kind of dive bar you don't find by accident. On this night, the usual quiet hum was shattered by the obnoxious laughter of the Iron Fangs biker gang. They'd rolled in an hour before, 8 of them on roaring Harleys, and taken over the place like an occupying force. Their leader, a fictional mountain of a man named Bo Chains Kruger, ruled the room with an iron fist and a cruel sneer. He and his crew were the center of attention, their crude jokes echoing off the walls, while the regular patrons just tried to become invisible. But one man didn't seem to notice. At the far end of the bar, a solitary figure sat in quiet contemplation, nursing a glass of water. Dressed in simple black with his hair tied back, he was an island of calm in a sea of chaos. To the Iron Fangs, he looked like the perfect target. An old man, alone, seemingly oblivious. Chain saw a chance for some sport, a way to remind everyone who was in charge. He had no idea he was about to make the biggest mistake of his life. The taunting started small. One of the younger, cockier bikers swaggered over to the quiet man, leaning into his space. "Hey, old-timer," the biker slurred. "This is our bar tonight, and we don't much like strangers." The man in black didn't even turn his head. His voice was low, almost a whisper, but it cut through the noise. "I'm just finishing my drink. I don't want any trouble." The biker laughed, a high-pitched, ugly sound. "Trouble ain't something you get to choose, old man." He flicked a peanut at the man's head. Then a few drops of beer. They mistook his calm for fear, his silence for weakness. Chains grinned from his stool, enjoying the show. He gave a nod, an order to escalate. And that's when everything changed. The moment the biker's hand made contact, a switch flipped. The quiet patron finally turned his head, and for the first time, the bikers got a clear look at his face. It wasn't just some random old guy. The stony expression, the piercing eyes, the unmistakable ponytail. It was Steven Seagal. The biker's hand was still on his shoulder, and you could just imagine the dawning horror in his eyes. He hadn't just provoked a victim. He had laid hands on a master. Seagal's eyes, cold and focused, locked onto the bikers. "I told you to walk away," he said, his voice no longer quiet, but filled with a chilling finality. What happened next in the legend wasn't a brawl. It was a dissection. Before the biker could even react, Seagal's arm blurred into motion. He grabbed the man's wrist, twisted it in a way that defied anatomy, and effortlessly flipped him over the bar. A tremendous crash of glass and bottles erupted as the biker landed in a heap. The bar went silent. The other 7 bikers stared, their drunken amusement vanishing into disbelief. Then, with a collective roar, they charged. A second biker threw a wild haymaker. Seagal sidestepped and drove a vicious kick into the man's chest, launching him backward over a table. Another came at him with a pool cue. The story says Seagal snapped it in half with a high kick. A fourth, bigger than the rest, tried to grab him in a bear hug from behind. Seagal dropped his weight, turned, and sent the man flying over his shoulder, crashing through the very table he'd been pounding on moments before. Each movement in this mythical fight was precise and brutally effective. He used their own aggression against them. One pulled a knife, but Seagal disarmed him with a wrist lock so fast the man just dropped to his knees, screaming. Finally, only Bo Chains Kruger was left. He watched in stunned horror as his feared crew was dismantled in under a minute. Roaring, he charged, swinging a fist the size of a canned ham. Seagal met the charge, grabbed the arm, and with an almost gentle turn, dropped Chains to the floor. The story ends with Seagal delivering a single, deliberate pressure-point strike to Kruger's shoulder, collapsing him not with a knockout blow, but with humiliating precision. Silence fell on the rusty spur, broken only by the groans of defeated bikers. Seagal stood in the middle of the wreckage, untouched. This is where the legend gets a modern twist. In every telling of this tale, someone supposedly filmed the whole thing, and the footage instantly went viral. Of course, no one has ever been able to produce this mythical video, a fact that only makes the story more legendary. The fantasy continues with sirens wailing in the night. The story goes that police officers entered, saw the carnage, and instantly recognized the action star. An older cop, starstruck, supposedly asked, "Mr. Seagal?" Seagal just nodded. They didn't want to leave quietly. No statement was needed. The officer simply had his partner call for paramedics. Seagal, in true movie hero fashion, supposedly left a $100 bill on the bar and disappeared into the night. So, what do you think? It's almost certainly not a true story, but why is it so popular? Is it just the ultimate wish fulfillment fantasy of seeing a bully get exactly what they deserve? Let us know what you think about this internet legend in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into modern myths. The tale of Steven Seagal at the Rusty Spur Saloon lives on, not because of any verifiable facts, but because of the powerful idea it represents. It's a story about the danger of underestimating others and the quiet strength that can lie beneath a calm surface. While no official reports confirm any part of it, the legend serves as a permanent cautionary tale. It blurs the line between the action hero we saw on screen and the man himself, fulfilling that wish that sometimes the good guys from the movies are actually walking among us, ready to teach a lesson when it's needed most. Whether it happened or not, the story endures for one simple reason. Everyone loves to see a bully regret the moment they decided to pick a fight with the wrong person.